that when I'm in Washington, I hear people in Washington beginning to talk about. I don't think there's pending legislation yet, but I know there are going to be a couple of hearings to look into the issue.
Could you put forth a bill
I'd be happy to look into it.
and say, hey, let the companies who employ these independent contractors deduct the wages, put it on the 1099 so they can get credit, so that they will be forced to file income taxes. And if they don't want to file income taxes, that money is going to be forfeited to the government.
It's an interesting notion.
I think that's fantastic. That would stop illegal immigration right there. Because I worked as an electrician for 43 years, I saw that all the production employees were illegal immigrants. None of them could speak English.
When was this? How far back?
3.5 years ago,
Okay.
when I retired. But any company you go to in Chicago, all the production people will not be speaking English. And it's all because they're coming from day labor services. None of those people pay taxes. The companies don't pay any benefits, and they don't pay any taxes on these people. That bill right there would stop illegal immigration.
It's an interesting notion.
The Democrats won't go for that.
Pardon me?
They need the votes.
They don't pay taxes. They get all free medical care. It's like 40, 50 million people get free medical care, and the companies know it. They don't care.
You know, we talk about this issue a lot, illegal immigration. And in fact, I spoke in DC on Thursday in front of a group of Hispanic pastors from all over the Chicago area. And this issue obviously came up. You're a man of the cloth. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
What does your country do about illegal immigration? What's the decent, right thing to do?
Well, the thing that bothers me about illegal immigration, as I've experienced it, is the way the illegal immigrants are exploited. So I have a different approach toward it.
Who's exploiting them?
Well, people wouldn't be shipping them up here if there wasn't money to be employed.
So businesses.
Exploiting them. They get ripped off on any kind of business contracts they try to enter into. I'm also from Los Angeles, so I saw a lot there.
What's the answer? What's the answer? What's your government? What should your government do?
Close the borders.
I would start with, if you don't close the border, that's like saying, well, this person's hemorrhaging, let's give them some aspirin. You got to put a Band-Aid where the wound is. So I would definitely close the border, seriously close the border.
They did that with Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, well,
They
not
promised
just for
him.
illegal immigration issues either, but for national security. I'm
Yes.
going to close the borders for national
For
security.
security.
Is there anyone who's not on board with having your government do everything they can do to secure the border?
Well, that's federal law.
Well, I know that. Is there anyone here who would change that federal law?
No,
It's not going to happen.
How about an open border?
no.
It's going to
No.
continue to stay open because the government, after the bankruptcy of 1933, uses the birth certificates to secure loans. So in fact, they have to have as many babies as they possibly can in the United States to keep borrowing money.
So I didn't answer your question yet. So my approach to it's more, as you know, the illegal immigrants, ones I've known, they just want to make a better life for their kids.
Let me stop you there. I'm going to keep starting and stopping you.
Okay, that's fine.
I agree with that. Is there anybody in this room who doesn't agree with that? That the majority of illegal immigrants here come here for good reasons. The majority.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you consider to be good reasons?
And again, I'm thinking off the top of my head for a better way of life, to make a buck, to get a job. Are there others? And again, just so we know and so the camera knows, though the camera will edit this as it wants. I'm not making a judgment here. This is a classroom. Those would be reasons that a lot of illegals come over.
Yep.
to escape a worse place and come here to try to make a better life.
Right, correct.
Now, okay, so keep going.
So, I mean, they wouldn't take the risks they take, crossing the river,
Right.
crossing the desert.
Right.
Get stuffed in the back of trucks.
Right.
For rail cars. They would not do that unless there was a good reason for them to do it. And you know, they have the same motivation I have. I want to see my life better for my family.
Okay.
I want to see my life better for myself.
Okay, so they do that and they've done that. So how do you balance that with the fact that the very act is breaking the law?
You don't. You can't.
Well,
When is
can't.
enough enough? When is enough? Should we?
No, but before you go there, I'm going to stop you. That's an interesting answer. Here's the thought experiment. Most of them come here for reasons that we understand.
Right,
But yet they're breaking the law.
correct.
And that's where our compassion gets in the way.
Well, okay, but
You know how I look at it? If you went in their country and you wanted to stay there, you'd have to pay for your own health insurance, you'd have to pay for your own food. They don't give you anything in other countries. They come here and they get everything for free.
well, and in fact, if you
You can't own a business, you can't own a home.
You can't have
do
nothing,
anything.
They come here, they
You
get
can't
everything
travel
right.
freely.
And we
You
have
can't buy a car.
old people that are starving here.
all the way in the
Our
back.
people are not.
So, you know, you asked the man here because he said he's a man of God. What would God do? You know, God's sitting up there looking down at all of us. And this thing's been going on forever. I don't know if you guys ever heard of the fall of the Roman Empire. But one of the main reasons, the thing that pushed Rome over the edge, besides everything else you've read and seen and know it, is the fact that the Huns were moving in, and there were millions and millions of illegals up in the northwest corner of Rome. And Tibius was one of the guys, I think it was 415, I don't recall, it was my favorite class in Champagne.
You never thought you'd get a history lesson.
Because he had become a Christian, because it was cool to be a Christian, the late Roman Empire was Christian. So he said, come on in, we'll let you in. There was no borders, language, culture, assimilation. These people just came in, and there were, at the time, I think almost 30 people working for every Roman family. And then at some point in time, they just took over. But they were compassionate. Now, right now, there's no question that these people are coming here to do good, except for the ones that are coming here as mules to bring in drugs.
And there are a good number of those.
There are, right. But the main reason is to help the family. Well, that's all well and good, except for the fact that you should be coming in the front door. If you want to, as a Christian, help any country, go there and help them. We send missionaries from my church to go and help other people. But you cannot bring, and a church should not help. A Catholic church is moving illegals into Chicago. My friend is a priest, and he's got an entryway church in Chicago. 85 to 90% of all the people are illegal aliens. He knows that he's bringing them in from Honduras, Puerto Rico, and all of Latin America because he feels that's his job. And I said, well, fine. If the church will, if the Catholic charities will fund them, I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But don't bring them in and dump them on America. And that's where I think we're getting into a compassionate conservative mentality. But the bottom line is you break the law, it's got to stop, close the border, cut off the food. You know, you want birds in your backyard, put in a bird feeder. You want to get rid of the birds, you take the bird feeder. So if the jobs are not here, they will go home and they will make their country great.
That's why they said
there.
that they're there. That's why they said it's down, because there's no jobs here. That's why they went back home. When we start getting jobs again, they'll be back here. The illegal immigrants will be up high again. I have nothing against them.
Well, would you get to it? Father, you're taking so long.
No.
Huh?
You can't have overt supported breaking of the law, because then you just destroy your civilization.
Right.
Your society will fall.
Yeah, you have to have a rule of law.
You have to have a rule of law.
Well,
and my point is, though, is, people say, yeah, but I sort of respect these people, actually, or I have compassion on them. And I can see why they want to live in America. I want to live in America. But that's not an excuse for breaking the law.
you know what? Here was the metaphor that at a town hall in Elk Grove, about a 30-year-old Hispanic gentleman gave me this analogy, and he is here legally. He put it the best I've ever had anybody put it to me. He said, it's like you're going to a Cubs or a White Sox game. And everybody in this room knows that if you take your wife and your 2 kids to a Cubs or a Sox game, and you pay for parking, you pay for the tickets, you pay for hot dogs, a beer, a Coke, peanuts, the whole ball of wax, you're spending a couple $100. And it's like, we all as American citizens, we pay that freight when we go to a Cubs game or a Sox game. And then other people can just come to that game for nothing. And they can sit in seats without paying for a ticket. They can get a hot dog without paying for it. They can park their car without paying for it. And the stadium is filling up with all these other people who aren't paying to go to that ball game. I thought it was a beautiful way to put it. And he said the rest of us, we had to save everything we got to get in to go to that Cubs game. So it's this notion of compassion. Well, is our policy now compassionate toward everybody that's been standing in line to get into this country legally? Are we treating them compassionately?
No.
To everybody, every other taxpayer in this country that's paying their way to live in this country, and we're adding to their debt burden? We're putting debt on top of our kids and our grandkids based on people who are coming to a Cubs and a Sox game and not paying a darn thing? Is that fair to our kids?
Well, it's not fair to the illegals.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
The only issue with that analogy, Joe, is that 47%...
Pick apart my analogy.
Yeah, 47% of the people in this country don't pay taxes anyway. The other people pay for that group of people.
Well, let me.
I mean, if people,
that's great.
If people
That's
are getting
great.
into the ball game free because you got 28 other thousand people paying for the ballpark and the players, we've got 51% of the people in this country paying taxes.
Okay.
For the other 47%.
Okay. This is fun. We're gonna pick apart my analogy a little bit. I buy what you're saying. I think that the stadium is filling up with a lot of people who aren't having to pay for certain things. That 47 to 49% of the country that doesn't pay federal income taxes, most of them are still paying payroll taxes. Most of them, hold on. Most of them, when they go buy something down at the convenience store, they're still paying a sales tax, so they're still paying for some things. But you're right.
So you're saying an illegal is here paying nothing?
Oh, I'm saying
like the person getting into the ballpark free without a ticket, without paying for a hot dog, is paying nothing.
I'm saying
is that where your analogy kind of breaks down, Joe?
Well, it's interesting. I'm saying that illegals are either getting almost everything for nothing, or many of them are paying nothing for most of the things. And too many American citizens, fair point, are increasingly getting into that Cubs game without having to pay for certain things.
Well, I would argue 2 points then.
It's interesting.
When they buy gas, aren't they paying tax on gas?
Oh, and that's what I'm saying. They're certainly paying some things.
Right.
But there are a lot of undocumenteds who are in here, unless they're literally buying things or paying for gas, there are a huge number that aren't paying anything.
Let me follow
And then I want
up.
other people to chime in, because this is
I'd like to
interesting.
follow up on the gentleman's comment about the 1099.
Yeah.
When I filled out 1099 for people I hired, I had to put a social security number on it.
That's okay, because a lot of the illegals,
And it cost me 6% to do that.
right, a lot
And I
of
always thought it was a good social security number.
the illegals have.
And many aren't.
Yeah.
They have stolen social security numbers.
Many, yeah. That's the flaw
The
there.
fact of the matter is, what you're talking about is even a lot worse when you say some of the people are getting the ballpark for free. There was an article, I believe it was written by Chuck Norris, everybody knows who he is, who pointed out that people coming to work here do get an ID number from the government. They don't file taxes, but yet because of their child credits, they can get a refund.
Sure.
And we have been paying out billions of dollars to the Hispanics, the illegals, mostly Hispanics, and some of their child credits are for children and family members who are not even in this country.
The vast majority of illegal immigrants in this country don't even have a high school degree. The vast majority of them. And those, over the course of their entire life in this country, the numbers are staggering.